Okay, so this is the video I have been promising Evie, my buddy lass from New Zealand. If you don't follow her on Twitter, her handle is @bonevie, BON_EVIE. I swear every time I read her name, it makes me want to watch V for Vendetta. But anyways, this subject came up again last night. For me. For her, it was probably, I don't know, today's afternoon for us. Anyhow, about Jesus and whether or not he was a refugee. So, her and I have already discussed this, and we both agree with each other that he was not. So, I'm looking at my Bible earlier today, and reading through Matthew, comparing the accounts of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, etc. I mean, there's not one scripture where it says he ever fled persecution and became a refugee. Not a single one. And I'm sitting there reading this, and my husband looks over and he goes, "What are you reading that it's got you so absorbed?" And I said, "The Bible." And he goes, "Yeah, but which book?" I said, "Well, right now I'm in Matthew." And I explained to him what I was looking into. And he goes, "Jesus wasn't a refugee." He goes, the only people who ever tried to persecute him were the Pharisees, and he didn't flee them either. He never tried to get away from them. And I went, "Oh my God, thank you. My husband just made my point for me." And he doesn't even know the Bible as well as I do. The only person in the Bible who ever fled persecution was Moses. So, no, Jesus didn't ever flee persecution. He wasn't a refugee. The only time that I can think where people might get this idea that he was a refugee was because he was born in a stable. Well, he was born there. That doesn't mean he was a refugee. They were his earthly parents were there to register as was required by law. So, yeah. And here. The Pharisees. My husband's right. The Pharisees are the ones who brought up charges against him because people were listening to him. The Pharisees didn't like that. He was awakening people. He was waking people up. And so, you know who the Pharisees are. I can't say the real word because then I'll get, bing, marked. At any rate, he didn't even run away from them. He could have. Look at the Last Supper. He already knew Judas was going to betray him. But he didn't run off and go somewhere else. No. He stayed put. He faced up to it. He knew it was coming. The only time I can find in the Bible that Jesus ever wanted to get away from anything was when the crowds of people who were so intent on seeing and listening to him became so massive. He looked at his disciples, and he's like, "Oh, dude, let me find a quiet spot. Keep these people away from me." That's the only time. He just wanted a quiet spot to sit down and, have some quiet. That's the only time. Oh, by the way, Abby, come here. Anybody want a dog? She's not even my dog. I don't know if you can see her, but I think she's beagle. We're trying to find a new home for her. She's an annoying little shit. Well, only annoying because we're not pet people. Never have been. And this dog has no purpose. I mean, seriously, has no purpose. It's good for children. Keep them entertained. It's a very young dog too. It's maybe a little over a year old, year and a half, something like that. But other than that, she wouldn't be a good farm dog. She hates being outside when it's cold or wet. And if it is cold and wet outside, she'll hold her bowels until she comes back inside the house, and then she'll do her mess inside the house. Oh, that irritates me to no end. It's not even our dog. It's the gal who's staying with us, whose name is Julie. She needed a place to stay until she can get her feet back under her. And this is her dog. And she didn't even... Alright, I'm not going to rant on about that. Anyways, back to the original point. I'm sorry I went off there. Jesus was not a refugee. The only person in the Bible who ever fled persecution was Moses. And offhand, I didn't look at that earlier today. I probably should have. But I remember he was fleeing the land of Egypt because Pharaoh wanted to kill him. And he went into the wilderness, and later he was the one who led God's people through the Red Sea. And then came back up against Pharaoh and faced him. That's the only person in the Bible who was a refugee. The only one. It was Moses, not Jesus. So, don't give me that crap. And it's funny, I was mentioning to Evie, it's like, how interesting is this? This is the second time it's been brought to my attention. She goes, big guy's trying to give you a nudge, isn't he? Well, yeah, I guess so. So, here it is. Hopefully I didn't do too bad with talking about it here. I mean, it's so simple. I mean, there's not one singular scripture in which Jesus fled anything except a massive crowd that he just needed some peace and quiet from. That's it. That is it. He could have left. He could have gone any number of places when he knew that Judas was going to betray him, but he didn't. He faced up to it. Why do you think he went to the Garden of Gethsemane and was praying to his Father 3 times? Let this cup be removed from me. If not, then let your will take place. He already knew it was coming. He didn't like it, but he didn't run away from it either. That is a solid man who will face up to that kind of stuff. I mean, and that's scary shit, really, when you think about it. You know that you could leave, but you also know that if you do, that it's going to basically screw everything up. And it was God's will that this happened. And your life is on the line. And you stay. That is, hands down, a stand-up man. He wouldn't have done that if he was a refugee. If he was, he would have just run away again. No, he didn't do that. Now, did he talk about, later in Matthew, he talked about if you're being persecuted in one city, flee to another. And then flee to another, and then flee to another, basically. Yeah, did he talk about it? Yeah, but he never did it himself. I can't find a singular scripture where he did anything of the sort. So, there you go. Evie, months and months later, I finally made my promise true. Or fulfilled my promise. Pardon me. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to do with this video, and here soon I'm going to do another one because a very interesting subject came up the other day on Twitter that my attention was brought to. So I'll do a little bit more reading up and research on that before I make the video, but I'll do that one here soon. And yeah, I guess that's about it. I went to the quick shop, got me some more beer, so I'm gonna have me one, and then sit down and watch a movie when I get home, and talk about politics with my husband, and have a grand old evening. I hope all of you do the same. Have a great evening, day, wherever you are, what time it is for you. Enjoy the rest of your day. God bless, and take care. Love you. Bye.